Good morning, students. In this topic, that next part where we stopped in the previous class is mechanical lever. We didn't complete it previous class. It contains one rod, a rigid rod. Mass is negligible. Generally, you will see in the villages, if they want to lift any heavy stone having mass m, they take one crowbar, that is an iron rod they take, and they are long stick they take, which is hard ones, and they keep one small stone for support, and the apply the force here. When you press here, the stone will lift, but the stone distance from this support point, the support stone should be strong, this rod should be strong, then heavy load, any load can be lifted up. The distance from this load to the supporting point called as the fulcrum should be less, and the point where you are applying the force is called as effort, you are applying force, and the distance from the effort to the supporting point fulcrum should be large. This should be large, this should be less, and the weight you are lifting is called as a load, the force you are applying is called as a effort. So mechanical levers, they are depending on the position, different may be there, the distances, different kinds of levers are there, but basic principle is similar. It contains the parts called as effort, the force you are applying, and load, which are working output you are taking. Here in this diagram, we are taking the lifting of the weights, and fulcrum is a point called as a pivoted point, pivoted point, sharp edge points will be supporting point taken here. This O is the fulcrum point. About this point, the rod is able to rotate. Okay, and the distance from the pivoted point means fulcrum to the force where you applied effort is called as the effort arm. Arm means hand purpose only, just like the hand it is lifting up and down, and same principle is involved in our body also. About this is a fulcrum, about this the hand is able to rotate. You are taking the lifting it up, the lifting object is a load we have to take, and the load distance, the distance of the load from the fulcrum is called as the load arm. A and B is rods. For theoretical cases, we neglect the weight of this rod, so we call it as a light rod. Otherwise, its weight need to be considered. What is the principle of working of this mechanical lever? Lever here is the device. It is a device used to lift the heavy loads with less forces. Parts of the lever, three parts compulsorily required. These three you write: load, effort, and fulcrum. What is load? It is the weight that is lifted. Effort is the force applied. Fulcrum is a supporting point called as a pivot for rotating rods. Freely rotate, that is a free point it is. Rigid light rod is also required, but when they ask you what are the parts of lever, these three important, but in exam you better write all the points required, or else light rod not required also, you write in words remaining parts. In the figure, compared to the figures, AB is a light rigid rod, light in the sense negligible weight, F is a force, effort, W equal to mg, capital mg I have taken, and small mg, same symbol you follow throughout the derivations. W equal to mg weight, O is called as a fulcrum, and AO is called as the effort arm, and BO or OB is called as a load arm. It is the distance between the effort and fulcrum, and is the distance between the load and fulcrums. R is called as a normal reaction. Action is the weight acting downwards, or total force acting downwards are actions. The reaction force is acting at the supporting point, or the reaction force may be taken with the symbol N also sometimes. Don't bother about much. It is nothing but a force only. Next, for equilibrium condition you take. Net equilibrium, total equilibrium condition means there is no translatory motion, there is no rotational motion. First we take the translatory condition. Translatory equilibrium, what is required? Total upward force equal to total downward force. What is the upward force acting here? Only R. What are the downward force acting here? F and W. So R is supposed to be equal to F plus W. W itself is mg. So R minus F plus mg equal to 0. This indicates net force is 0. That is one condition required for the equilibrium. This is for translatory equilibrium. Next we take is rotational equilibrium. Translatory equilibrium condition satisfied means the lever is, this rod is not going upwards or downwards. Next is sixth point, rotational equilibrium. For rotational equilibrium, what is rotational equilibrium? Sum of the clockwise moments equal to sum of anti-clockwise moments. This force is trying to rotate it in this direction. About this point O, it is trying to rotate down like this. So it is called as the force into distance is a torque. O into F is a torque. It is not a couple, please. Couple is possible when two forces are equal values. But here two equal and opposite should be there. But two forces at the ends are acting downwards only. That is not going to form a couple. So this, it is trying to rotate in this direction. That is the anti-clockwise direction. This is trying to rotate in the clockwise directions. Sum of the clockwise moments equal to sum of anti-clockwise moments. For rotational equilibrium, sum of clockwise movements or anti-clockwise, first we can write clockwise movements. Sorry. Sum of clockwise movements. Sum of anti-clockwise movements is equals to sum of clockwise movements. What are the anti-clockwise movements? Anti-clockwise movements is, please remember, this only just movements means moment of force torque only. F into R, force into perpendicular distance to the force is nothing but equal to this distance, that is OA. That means anti-clockwise movement is F into OA. F into OA is equals to sum of the clockwise moments. Sum of the clockwise moments, this force is mg into or W into this distance, that is OB. That is mg into OB. That means what? F is what? A force. Force is nothing but equal to effort. Effort it is. Effort into effort arm is equals to load into load arm. That means effort into effort arm is equals to loads into load arm. Effort into effort arm is equals to load into load arm. This is the required condition to get the mechanical advantage. They will ask you generally, write the expression for mechanical advantage or derive the expression for mechanical. Derive means you have to draw the diagram, principle of this mechanical lever and parts, diagram and these points. Next point is 6th, 7th point. Mechanical advantage. Of lever. It is like efficiencies of instruments. Always we take the efficiencies as output by input. Input is the force you are applying, output is the load you are lifting it up. So this mechanical advantage generally taken as M dot A, MA it's called as. It is a ratio of load and effort. Ratio of output. Output means loads and effort. It is the ratio of load and effort. So this mechanical advantage is equals to load by effort. According to diagram, the load is nothing but equal to mg or W. Weight is nothing but by effort is nothing but equal to force. But if you take this equation from this relationship, if you take a load by effort go to the right side, the result becomes equal to effort arm by load arm. It becomes is also equal to effort arm by load arm. This is important for the numericals also. Mechanical advantage, up to this you take the derivation for the 3 marks question. Mechanical advantage is nothing but the load by effort. From the diagram, what is load is mg weight and effort is nothing but equal to force F. So this mechanical advantage in the symbol form from the diagram, what we can write is according to this diagram. Therefore mechanical advantage equal to loads is equals to weight. Be careful with the word. Sometimes in some other topics load means only mass also we take. Here load means we are comparing the forces here. Comparing the forces means weight you are taking it as a weight mg. if we given the units, kgs, load is mentioned in terms of the kg means only mass. Load is mentioned as the newtons means that is a weight. M into g, g is the acceleration due to gravity. So mechanical advantage is equals to mg by f is also equal to effort arm. Effort arm is OA, or we take it as OA by OB. This is related to the figure. In figure or in diagram we can mention. In this different case are these are extra points. Extra points. 1. If mechanical advantage is more than 1. Mechanical advantage is more than 1 means what? Load is more than effort. That means with less force we are able to lift the more loads. If mechanical advantage is greater than 1. If the mechanical advantage is greater than 1, that means loads is greater than effort. More weight is lifted with less force. More load is lifted with less force. Where you find this case generally is, I told you before, heavy load for stone is lifted with the help of the rods by small force applied. It is possible to lift even the elephant with by one small person, thin person also. But thing is that the elephant what you are putting here on this lever, the elephant distance from this fulcrum should be less, and the distance from the fulcrum to the point where the person is applying the force should be very large. More distance, more torque will be there. More torque is more easily can rotate. So more weight should be providing the less distances, the torque is reduced here. The result is that you can lift, provided the rod is very strong enough, it is possible to lift the elephant also with the small force. Archimedes said one statement that you can lift the earth also. You can lift the earth, the big earth, if he is provided with a long rod and also support. Practically not possible, just imagination. It is possible to lift any weight with the small forces provided you have the strong rod and supporting point. Strong supporting point is required. Next is if mechanical advantage is equals to 1, that means load is equals to effort. Here load is greater than effort. Load is greater than effort means reverse, you have to take the condition of arm lengths. Load is greater than effort and effort arm is greater than load arm. In this case, arm greater than load arm. The distance should be very large. Once again, I will discuss this point. Here should be very large, here very less force. Load inverts A, B. Second case, if mechanical advantage equal to 1 means exactly midpoint of the rod you are applying the fulcrum. Load equal to effort and load arm equal to effort arm. This is equals to 1, so load is equals to effort. Where do you get this? Common balance. Example, or simple balance we can call, that is used in the shops. Center point you will take the fulcrum. Here you are taking the weights. Here we have the weight. This weight is nothing but equal to, one is a force, effort, this is a load we can take, both are equivalent. Mg, this is also equal to mg. This is going to be the fulcrum. This load arm OA equal to OB, both are equal in length. Exactly center point is taken as the supportal fulcrums. And nutcracker, if you check up, no, this nutcracker, this is one example we can take, and even nutcrackers taken the support here. Not able to draw the diagram. Nut. This is a force applied. Fulcrum. The nutcrackers, that beetle nuts cutting nuts, they must have the distance of this load. The nut what you are breaking itself is the loads, and the force you are applying at the ends, no, that is going to be the effort, and the supporting point is nothing but fulcrum. Even the scissors used, there are different type of scissors. If you are using the cloth purpose is different. Soft cloth easy cutting, but if you are cutting the hard materials like plants cutting scissors, they will have this arm's length very long to where the force is applied, and if the distance is less from the load, then large force is acting here. With the less force you will get the large force magnified. The magnification of the force happens when the mechanical advantage is more than 1. Next example is the third one. If mechanical advantage is less than 1. If the advantage is less than 1 means this value is less than 1 means load is less than effort. Less than effort or load arm. This is less than 1. It is less than, sorry, 1 minute. Effort arm. Effort arm less than load arm. In the diagram, where do you get these cases? When load is less than effort, like a pair of tweezers or forceps, we can say. The forceps is used to hold the large force weights. Here you are fixing some object, holding it, but force is applied here. Here is the fulcrum. Force applied here is a pair of tweezers is called as a forceps we can call. Or in the kitchen we are using this, different name is there for this. If you are holding it like this, you applied here. The force distance from the fulcrum, this is going to be the effort arm. But this is a load arm. Load arm is from here to here. Load arm is bigger than that of the effort arm. So this is the effort arm. This is the load. Whatever the load you are taking it. It may be lightweight, but you have to apply the more force. It is an example of forceps or tweezers. Pair of tweezers is called as a fork. Not fork. Fork is also used. Tweezers. Let it be. Forceps, tweezers. Next point we will discuss is moment of inertia. Moment of inertia. Symbol is I. It is also called as rotational inertia. Inertia is a word used for the mass. What is this inertia? Is inability of the body to change the state of rest or motion or direction unless some external force acts on it. What is the measure of inertia? Is mass, kgs, grams. Same units we will take. Inertia is the name for the mass which resists. It is what is this property of the mass? Actually, it is a property due to which it resists the change of the state. So it resists. It is the property of object which resists the change of state. State means position, we can say. State of rest, motion or direction. This is for the translatory motion. We discussed this inertia or mass is for translatory or straight line motion, we can take. This word we are going to use this for the translatory motion. Inertia we are going to count. It is a property of object of the object. It is a property of object which resists and opposes. Resistance means opposing. Which resists the change of state of rest, motion or direction. But what about this rotational inertia? Same property for rotating object like fan is there. If the fan, it is at rest, you switch on, it starts rotating, and switch it off, it won't come to rest immediately, it will rotate for some time. Why? The property is nothing but inertial property. What is that inertial property? Is for rotating object is called the moment of inertia. That it is a property of the rotating object which resists or opposes the direction of rotation and speed of rotation. So if it is at rest, try to be at rest. If it is already rotating, try to rotate with the same speed about the same axis in the same direction also. So it resists the change of the state of rotation. If it is rotating in the clockwise direction, try to rotate in the same direction with the same speed forever actually. Why it is coming to rest after some time when you switch off the power supply? Is because of friction. If there is no friction, if it takes top, even top also, the top, once you spin, it starts spinning means it will be stable on the tip. If it is not rotating, it won't be unstable. The property which is making it stable while spinning to stand on the tip is called the property itself is the moment of inertia. It plays the same role. Moment of inertia plays same role as a mass in translatory motion. That is called as a rotational analogy. It is analogy means a similarity here. Rotational energy means in the rotational motion, what is the similarity term in the translatory motion means mass. Mass is the term in the translatory motion. Similar term in the rotational motion is moment of inertia. It is called as rotational analogy of mass in the translatory motion. And rotating objects are stable because the moment of inertia. Even though for rotation is moment of inertia interlinking, the speed of rotation is no way connected with the moment of inertia. Moment of inertia depends on the mass and location of the mass about the axis of rotations. And cycle wheel, when cycles are bicycles, if you take the person who is riding the cycle, he cannot stand on the two wheels when it is at rest. But in motion, once it comes into motion, the wheels have the moment of inertia which makes it stable. And once the rotation comes, means they try to rotate the same direction, the same plane of rotation also, and the cyclist will not fall even if the turnings bending also, he will push little amount also, he won't fall because of the stability provided by the property called as a moment of inertia. So it is a rotational energy of the mass in translatory motion, and it resists the changes in the rotation, changes in the axis of rotation or plane of rotation and direction of rotation of the rotating objects. Generally we are discussing here related to rigid bodies. It is rotational analog of mass in translatory motion. It is a rotational analog, rotational similarity of the mass in the translatory motion. In rotational motion, similar term we used is called as a moment of inertia. It is the property of the object property of rotating objects which oppose or resists the changes in the speed of rotation and direction of rotation and plane of rotation, which is resist the change in the speed of rotation, comma, direction of rotation and plane of rotation, or you can say axis of rotation. Do not try to change the states, so it will try to rotate in the same direction, same plane and with the same speed. This property which is the rotating object is having is called as a moment of inertia or rotational inertia. We'll stop now.